Live back with you tonight on In Focus, and thanks for staying on. During its hashtag Buya Tshwane People's Campaign media briefing yesterday, the ANC was quick to slam the DA, which has led the city of Tshwane for 7 years now. The ANC in Gauteng is marching to Tshwane House tomorrow to show its dissatisfaction about the non-delivery of services and poor administration in the metro. The campaign also serves as an intention to regain power in the capital city. For more on this, we are now joined by the ANC's Deputy Secretary General, Nomvula Mokonyane. Good to have you, and thank you very much for your time tonight on In Focus.
Good evening and evening to your listeners. Thanks for inviting us.
Whenever there's political action and whenever there are campaigns that are mounted by political parties, of course, these things don't happen in a vacuum. They happen in a context of what's happening in the country. One, we have to look at the timing at which you are launching this campaign, and then we'll look at the broader impact of what you want to achieve with it. But at a glance of the timing, just ahead of the national shutdown on March 20th. Is this a counter campaign to that of the EFF to say, well, we launched ours and look how peaceful and how well-mannered we were, and therefore there's no reason to be chaotic?
Thanks for the question. Totally nothing to do with the shutdown by the other party. We're coming from a conference, and amongst other things that we have resolved in conference is to reposition the ANC and claim the space of engaging on behalf of the people of South Africa in the communities where they live. And what is happening with the Operation Buya Tshwane has to do with the ANC reclaiming the space and connecting with the communities in different parts of our country, particularly those that have fallen victim of racial discrimination in terms of provision of services, of segregation in terms of consultation processes, of instability in terms of coalitions that have been there, and most importantly, of ensuring that we put the people of Tshwane and all other areas first. You'll recall that even in Tshwane, the ANC enjoys a bigger number of ward presence, but because of the kind of proportional representation, the ANC tends to be, of course, a party with more ward councillors, but not enjoying the majority in terms of the numbers. We can't be an organization that can just not raise issues that affect our communities. The DA has continued to have the audacity of claiming that where they lead, they are actually rolling out services. Townships in Tshwane, just as the townships in the Western Cape, have been left to decay. There isn't any movement in terms of provision of services. But worse, the very coalitions have not been able to direct the resources towards development of the historically disadvantaged communities. So the ANC has got a program that is going to be a rolling program for the coming 5 years, as mandated by the National Conference, and of course, making sure that we reclaim the space and we become an opposition that is constructive in showing out the weaknesses, but where there is no cooperation or feedback, that will stand with the side, on the side of those that have been disadvantaged. Tshwane is no longer the Tshwane that we know.
Talk to us. I mean, an organization that is over 100 years old, right? How do you make such a mistake of backing a candidate that you have not verified? I mean, are you that desperate to get back the control of Tshwane that you would put anyone and everyone and back them just for you to be able to get the control? Why was Dr. Nomvula Mokonyane not properly vetted by your own organization before getting behind it?
Every party, when engagements around coalitions, sponsors a candidate. This is a candidate that has even presided as a speaker, remember, when the ANC was not in coalition with them. So, as for our own candidates from the party, they are being vetted. And when this matter actually arose, the ANC encouraged the party that he belongs to follow up the matter, and hence they've resolved then to put in an alternative member of the council, a new councillor, and he has since resigned. It can't be the responsibility of the ANC to vet, because all these people, including him, he has been in office. Something indicates that it is only the ANC that goes into serious processes of verification and validation of our candidates. But where we are now, we're saying coalitions also, some of them are unstable. Some of the coalitions do not actually prioritize services to our communities, and hence this campaign of Operation Buya Tshwane.
Yeah.
We have a program of repositioning the ANC, of speaking and working together with our communities. And as I've said, majority of the ward councillors in Tshwane come from the African Congress. Yeah. But our system of putting together a council is the one that has made the ANC not to enjoy the majority that would have actually enabled us to be where we are. Yeah. Yes, we live in an era of coalitions. In this particular period, we definitely need to also encourage all other parties that they must do what the African National Congress does. We even take our ward councillors to communities for endorsement. Yeah. And once they are nominated by the ANC processes, they get vetted up to the level of using even state institutions to validate that these comrades or members of the ANC are eligible to serve.
Yeah. In your launch statement that you issued out, you've carefully mapped out the history from 2016, at least up until now, of the DA's administration, from Solim Simang, the Clear Africa scandal, to Mukhalapa, and his leaked audios, to now Randall, and all the things that are coming out from the Auditor General. But you've left out the period in which you were in power before losing it 43% to the DA and 41% to the ANC in 2016. The corruption scandals and the internal squabbles that existed within the ANC itself, that a compromised candidate had to be brought in, and there was massive unrest in Tshwane because of that. Why should people want you back when they have clearly seen how you perform in that space? They've seen the DA, and hence in 2021 they decided not to give anyone a majority.
You know, if you've been around, that townships of Tshwane were the second after the township called Soweto in Johannesburg. In terms of cleanliness, they have won many awards around a program called Bunkekebutu. Secondly, you know, if you were around, that it is through the ANC-led municipality in Tshwane where we had the Wi-Fi network and where open spaces were connected, and students and those who come from institutions of higher learning and anybody who actually moves and utilizes the open spaces was able to have access to network that was moving faster and that was actually making sure that Tshwane becomes a smart city. You know that we were in the process of the rollout of the BRT bus services. You will recall that we had a program that was employing no less than 5,000 young people coming from Tshwane. You will recall that Tshwane was leading in terms of the release of land to faith-based organizations, but also for small-scale farming. And of course, where there were allegations of corruption during the tenure of the African National Congress in Tshwane, it is the ANC also that welcomed those investigations. And those investigations happened at the request of the African National Congress in the province. And yes, our own squabbles have actually become a setback as to where Tshwane is today. But that does not mean that the ANC has not been able to self-correct. Hence, we continue to talk about unity. We believe that unity must start within the organization. And the ANC, where it is now in Tshwane, it is better poised to deal with those issues. And I think we have overcome those dynamics that led to the squabbles, which was indeed a setback because the electorate felt, what's the point of voting for you when you are fighting amongst yourselves? Yeah. So it is those things that we definitely have to look at and ensure that as we commit towards unity, the renewal of the ANC, and the year of decisive action, we also minimize tensions within the African National Congress. And that was the clarion call of the last Congress. We are going to launch this Operation Buya Tshwane. We will be going to Mkhale, we will be going to Abecha, and everywhere, because it is our own ward councillors who are not able to account because they've been marginalized by the DA's leadership, and they've not been able to take into consideration the IDPs that are coming from our wards. Yeah.
When people hear Operation Buya Tshwane, of course, they are hearing the ANC saying we want back the control and to hold back the power of Tshwane. Today we hear of 2 cases that have been open of bribery. Is the ANC involved in any way in these acts of bribing councillors to vote for your candidate in order for you to Buya Tshwane back into your hands?
Where there is a situation like that, let it be investigated. The ANC as an organization had not gone out to bribe anybody. People had made their own choices of supporting the African National Congress. And if it is parties that go around sniffing their own members, they need to sort that out. Members of parties must be allowed to express their views within the organization, and the processes, once they unfold, the party can't actually now want to blame the organization, the African National Congress. There are problems even within their own structures. I'm sure you've now heard, and it's quite interesting how the media has not picked it up, that one of the councillors in Tshwane, a councillor from Action SA, I think, she has actually been dismissed because she has a relationship with somebody else. You can see that we have reached a stage of desperation. Lie detectors have been rolled out against individuals, which shows also that the level of trust amongst individual members in those parties are actually disturbing. We have had similar challenges in the ANC, where comrades have opted to speak out against a party line, and it is through proper organizational processes and not through these terrible experiences of the old order of putting people into lie detectors and dismissing somebody because she has a relationship or is married to somebody. It is those things that show that democracy doesn't exist in all these parties. And it is only in the ANC that we believe that we can be able to build coalitions that must be based on particular commitments, such as service delivery, cleaning at Ridgeville, Mamelodi, open sites, and making sure that the seat of government reclaims its glory.
Yeah. Are you not making false promises? I mean, that as soon as you reclaim power, things will turn around. As we speak, Tshwane is unable to pay Eskom on time, and it's a cash flow issue. There's just no money to be able to pay them. At some point, buses were not able to operate because they couldn't afford diesel. Waste is not being picked. It's literally a city that is in financial dire straits. It's bankrupt, to say the least.
The thing also, the municipality is resisting to cooperate in the spirit of intergovernmental relations, as well as in the processes of the district development model. Tshwane has been resisting to cooperate with the province, with national government, and they could have been helped. That's why we want this Buya Tshwane to be a reality, and we make sure therefore that together with all other spheres of government, we are able to reposition Tshwane so that Tshwane can become a seat of government, and the communities, not only in the white suburbs as we see in Cape Town and as we see here in Tshwane, we must see improvements in Atteridgeville, in Hammanskraal, everywhere in Tshwane. There must be progress in terms of improving the quality of life of people. All these challenges that you are raising can be resolved if there is cooperation and collaboration. Metros also sit together with the president in what is called the President's Coordinating Council. Tshwane doesn't cooperate there. Tshwane doesn't participate because they believe they can become an island on their own. It can't be. The people of Tshwane can't suffer because of racial egos and self-preservation by those who do not care about any other person except white supremacy, male domination, including their own ilk, like the ones who are now dismissing women councillors because they have a relationship with somebody that they do not actually, that the person who does not belong to their own party. There's sexism, there's racism, there's just all forms of discrimination happening in Tshwane. It's not a one-day event. We're going to individual wards in Tshwane. We're going to mobilize communities to be active in the IDP processes. We're going to mobilize through our ward councillors, civil society and NGOs, so that then the line departments in Tshwane, together with the province and national, through the district development model, we come together and they all assist in helping to deliver the services without segregation.
Nomvula, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much for engaging us this evening. That is the first Deputy Secretary General of the ANC, Nomvula Mokonyane.